Welcome to my channel. I'm not sure you should be here. The stories I share are dangerous and not for everyone, but if you really want to know, then please subscribe and stay close. It's dark out here, and I don't want to be alone.
I was going back to college after spending the holidays with my parents. The trip was long, just over 3 hours, cutting through endless fields and almost no cities on the way. I left late, around 10 at night, and the road was almost deserted. Right at the beginning, I saw a man walking by the side of the road. He was tall, thin, holding a worn bag. He raised his thumb, hitchhiking. I thought twice, but as I was going in the same direction, I pulled over and asked if he wanted a ride. He mentioned a nearby city and entered, but up close, I realized that I was much older than I imagined. I must have been about 40 years old. He was silent for almost half an hour. The radio filled the car, but even so the atmosphere became strange. It was then that he began to moan, holding his belly, saying that he was not well. I offered to stop on the side of the road, but he refused. Instead, he said firmly, "Take the third exit on the right." The way he spoke gave me goosebumps. I thought, if I was really sick, I wouldn't choose a specific way out. I would just ask to stop. Still, I continued. When I turned around, I realized that there was nothing. No gas station, no restaurant, just a deserted road. He asked me to continue a little longer. My anxiety grew, but before I reacted, he simply told me to stop. He opened the door, went down without looking back, and disappeared into the darkness. A few minutes later, I saw something even more frightening. 5 hooded figures came out of the bush, running towards the car. The headlights illuminated the metallic reflection of what looked like weapons. Instinctively, I shifted into gear and took off. The shots came soon after. I felt the impact of at least 2 bullets hitting the back of the car. I didn't stop until I got to the college dorm. Only in the parking lot did I see the bullet holes in the bodywork, one of them a few centimeters from the rear tire. If it had burst, maybe I wouldn't be here to tell it. Since that night, I have never offered a ride to anyone. I was traveling around Colorado, enjoying my vacation, and since I didn't have much money, I hitchhiked to get around. I had done this before, and until then, everything was going well. It was around 2 in the afternoon when a red pickup truck pulled up next to me. Inside were 2 men, looking about 40 years old. They seemed normal. Entered. I soon realized that the inside was full of bullet marks. That made me uncomfortable, but I tried to stay calm. We talked for a while until one of them commented, almost casually, that he had just been released from prison for assault. The silence that followed was suffocating. Then they started asking me how much money I had. I replied that I had nothing, just my backpack. They didn't say anything else, but the driver kept watching me in the rearview mirror. After almost half an hour, they left the highway and entered a deserted dirt road. My heart raced. I asked where we were going, but they didn't answer. Without a second thought, I unlocked the door and jumped in with the car in motion. I rolled on the ground, felt the backpack hit my back, and ran towards a cornfield. Behind me, I heard brakes, slamming doors, and gunshots. I hid among the plants for minutes that seemed eternal. It wasn't until I got back to the main road that I was able to call the police. I never saw those men again, but I know that if I had stayed in the car for a few more minutes, maybe my story would have ended right there, on that dirt road. I was only 11 years old. My mother and I needed to come home after a trip to the grocery store, but we didn't have a car. A white pickup truck driver stopped and offered us a ride. We entered the back, but soon realized that something was wrong. My mother started giving directions, but he just ignored it, going straight through our exit. He said he would make a quick detour. We ended up on a secluded farm where another man appeared and started arguing with the driver, shouting that he shouldn't have brought someone with a child. The driver came back, pale, apologized, and drove us back to the road without saying anything else. We never knew what they planned to do to us, but the second man's expression haunts me to this day. My mother always said that that day we narrowly escaped. I was in the northwest of the USA, trying to get to a nearby city. A gray car pulled up, and the driver made me get into the back seat. Strange was the fact that there was a barrier between the front and back seats. I soon realized that I was in trouble. The windows were closed, and when I tried to open them, I saw that they were painted black. I couldn't see anything outside. I asked to leave, but the driver did not answer. It was like being trapped inside a moving metal box. After a time that seemed eternal, the car stopped on an isolated dirt road. The driver got out and started to walk away. I heard footsteps coming from behind the car. I panicked and ran through the woods until I found a paved road. Luckily, a police car appeared, and I told them everything. I never hitchhiked again in my life. That feeling of helplessness, of being trapped and surrendered to the fate of a stranger, never left my mind. "5 years ago, I was driving down a back road at night when I saw a middle-aged woman standing there, holding what appeared to be a baby wrapped in a blue blanket. I stopped, worried. She said that her ex-husband had abandoned her there with the child, asking me to take her to the nearby city. I accepted, and she got in the car. But I noticed that she didn't take her eyes off me. When I finally looked at the baby, I saw that the blanket was empty. She held a knife. He started screaming, demanding my car and my cell phone. He said that if I cooperated, everything would be fine. He asked him to stop slowly. When he got out of the car, instead of kicking me out, he turned around to the driver's side. I took the chance. I engaged the reverse and then took off, leaving it behind. I called the police, but they never found her. To this day, every time I see someone standing on the road, I remember her eyes staring at me, with that knife hidden under the blanket. Story 6, The Fugitive. It was 1975. I was returning from a trip when I saw a young man hitchhiking. He seemed harmless, and I agreed to take him. We talked for a while until we passed a sign. Attention, area near the prison. Beware of fugitives. My passenger tensed. Seconds later, he ordered me to continue driving. I was eventually taken to a dirt track where he forced me out of the car. Before fleeing, he hit me with something on the head. I woke up at dawn alone. I found out later that he really was a fugitive, convicted of manslaughter. I never got my car back. The only thing left was the lesson: never trust strangers on the road. At university, I ran out of money for the bus ticket and decided to hitchhike. A green car stopped. The driver introduced himself as Daniel, a recent graduate from the same college I was studying. The conversation flowed at the very beginning, until he insisted on knowing my exact address. I explained that he could drop me off at a restaurant in the city, but he got nervous, raised his voice, and pulled over the car, locked the doors when I tried to leave. I saw the anger in his eyes. I managed to pull the latch and escape, running through the woods. I left my backpack and everything inside. He shouted that he was going to find me, but I never saw him again. I spent hours in hiding before I got help. To this day, I don't know what he really wanted, but I know it wasn't a good thing. "4 years ago, a friend and I were walking back from the mall when we saw a man shivering from the side of the road. He seemed grateful when we offered him a ride. At first, he was nice. Later, at the gas station, he made a joke saying that he could steal the place to repay us. We laughed nervously, but the mood changed when we told him we were going to drop him off at a friend's house. He got aggressive, shouting that we were his only real friends. Suddenly, he pulled out a blade and attacked my friend, cutting his face. We ran desperately down the road until we got help. My car was destroyed, my documents stolen, and my friend had to get 13 stitches. I have never given anyone a ride since that day." I was 19 years old. After arguing with my girlfriend on the way back from a concert, she kicked me out of the car in the middle of the road. Without a cell phone, I started walking until an older man stopped and offered a ride. He said he would take me to a restaurant. At first, it seemed kind, but soon he began to comment on my clothes, my watch, strange insinuations about money. Suddenly, he pulled out a gun and demanded that I hand over everything: cell phone, wallet, sneakers, even the sweatshirt. When he got out to go around the car, I took the opportunity to run away. I ran into a convenience store where they called the police. I made it out alive, but I learned the hard way that sometimes being cynical and suspicious saves lives.